fat is not the best, but it's going to help you to survive. It's going to help your brain to function. If you go over there and you have that oatmeal and you put some brown sugar on it, and maybe like a couple junky things that they have there. I've been in those places, and I'm just looking around going, I'm getting better at reading lips, and hopefully I didn't give you an opportunity to read my lips right there. Okay, so it's just shocking to me what people come out and do for breakfast. Oh my goodness, it's crazy. So if you have all that starchy stuff, you're going to go to your meeting, you go off to work, and your blood sugar's going to die, you're going to feel like shit, you can't think, and that's what happens. That's what our body does when it just has sugar. All that stuff's converted to sugar very, very fast, yes.
So we've done the whole 30, but is there anything different on the foods that we should be filling our plate with, or just stick to the rules of the whole 30 as far as no grains, anything like that?
Yeah. I personally feel that you should do it for the rest of your life. So the quality and health of the grains didn't change once you finished 30 days.
Right.
They're the same. And I can tell you for a fact, so I don't eat grains. I used to. Once upon a time, someone said, "Look, we're going to try this grain, the gluten-free thing," and I didn't really believe it. I said, "Okay, whatever." Well, okay, big changes, absolutely big changes. I don't eat grain unless I'm stuck. If I eat grain, I will feel bloated right away, absolutely. After you do the whole 30 and you eat grain, I would bet really sizable amounts of money that you too will. And so, which brings me to a subject. So we are doing basically a 5-week nutrition challenge. And the whole 30 is 30 days. And so what I want to do, because I am promising to try to help you to have an ideal body weight for the rest of your life. That is what I'm trying to do. That is the goal of this program. When you do the whole 30 and you reset your hormones and you feel wonderful and everything's great, then that diet seems limiting to most of us. And then, so people say, well, what about introducing food? There's two things here. There are prizes at the end of this to help motivate people for inches lost and muscle gain and percent body fat loss. And so there's prizes. So if in the last week people tried out some foods, and they suddenly gained a bunch of weight, I'm sorry, because you might not win, but you will learn something. So we get all clean for 30 days. The last week is like a free food allergy test. And so what you do is maybe take one food or two foods that you normally eat in your life, that you think you might not be able to live without or whatever. Let's say it is the muffin that you have. Okay, so a lot of people don't go to work before they go to like Starbucks or whatever, and they grab some sugary thing in there. So, but it's a bran muffin, so it's okay. Let's say you have that bran muffin, full of grains, full of all kinds of stuff, full of bad oils, full of all kinds of stuff you shouldn't eat. If you knew the glycemic index of that muffin that's supposed to be healthy, you'd be shocked. So you say, I really like my muffin. I did the whole 30, I'm going to have this muffin again. And so you have that muffin, and you go to work, and like you're all like feeling spinny and spacey, and then you're feeling kind of bloated, and you're going, shit, and like I'm starving. And you start to feel all these things, and then you're supposed to go, well, wait a minute. The only thing I changed was one single thing. You can't go out and have pizza because it's got white flour, it's got all kinds of chemicals and junk, it's got fake cheese, it's got fake meat, it's got all kinds of things. You don't know which one it was. You have to have a single thing. So you have grain, you have your flour, you have the muffin, you have whatever. And you feel those effects. And then you go, then we are supposed to go, I bet you that stuff's not good for me. Because my body is really reacting to it. It was kind of accustomed to it before because I did it every day, and my body's great at surviving. So I'm living suboptimally, yeah, I don't go to the bathroom like for a day or two, but I thought everyone did that. But then in Whole30, that probably won't be the case, and then that's how things are supposed to be, and then we don't have all that stuff happen. It could be something else. Maybe it's wine. You think you're not going to be able to live without your glass of wine. So you have that glass of wine, and you will almost certainly feel some side effects from it. And that is supposed to tell you that your body does not, having gone clean and running 30 days, it's amazing what can happen in 30 days. You will be shocked at how well you feel. So in that very tiny amount of time, your body miraculously settles down, heals up, and is running really quite well. And then you add one thing to it, and it'll tell you. And so in the last week, to try to help you move on to the real world, you can try a couple things and see how it affects you, and then hopefully realize that you shouldn't eat it, and then go back to what you were doing before when you felt really, really well. Remember that little wee village of people 50,000 years ago, or 20,000 years ago, or whatever, and they just ate things that grew. And that's what humans did for a long, long time. And that's how we are supposed to function. Any other questions? Yes?
For the Whole30, why do you not eat or drink any dairy?
Yeah, awesome question. That didn't come up. Oh man, I like that. Okay, so that village out there, there's deer out there in the forest, and so they go, oh look, there's deer out there, and that deer, that doe just gave birth to that little deer, and I'm going to sneak up on it, and I'm going to tackle it, I'm going to tie it up, and I'm going to milk it, and I'm going to drink the milk. How many times do you think that happened? What animal in the animal kingdom drinks milk after it's weaned? They're weaned off of milk. Milk is designed to take, let's take an example of a cow. The milk is designed to take a precarious baby cow, called a calf, and make it grow 300 to 400 pounds in a couple months' time. That helps it survive. It's wonderful. It is the perfect food for a newborn whatever. It's the perfect food. There's nothing better. It's for them to grow really, really fast and have all the things that it needs to survive. It's not meant for adults. Here's another example I love. All of you women who have had children, your 16-year-old comes home from school and goes, oh my God, I'm so hungry, we have track practice today, and he whips up your top and starts nursing. How do you like that one? Okay, so does that sound very natural to you? Adult humans do not need milk. They do not need milk. If you are a family in the mountains of Afghanistan and you've got 8 kids and you've got 2 goats, make yogurt, make cheese, drink that milk, go for it. And by the way, those people for eons have retained the digestive enzymes necessary to digest that goat's milk, which is easier to digest than cow's milk. So if you're starving to death, drink milk. But otherwise, why would you do it? And then the mass-produced milk from the grocery store is horrible and disgusting. So if you ever get a chance to watch any, shows about how they live and what goes on and how the milk is produced and all the hormones and garbage that are given to them in order to make them survive and just able to stand up and live, it's disgusting and it's horrible. And what a lot of people don't know is because that's really mass-produced. And so once upon a time, farmers went out and milked it by hand. And it was exposed to the air and then quickly went in a truck and whatever. And people lived through that. And so then things got more mechanized, more profit, more this, more that. People go to Washington and they go, you know what? These companies I represent, they're having trouble making enough milk for our nation, and we need slacker rules and regulations. So, you know, every once in a while a mouse or a rat falls in. We got some cows that got, you know, they're all infected and stuff, and so we can't really totally control how much blood or pus or feces or rat hair or all that kind of stuff that falls in there. So would it be okay if we're allowed this many parts per million of that? And then someone gets a bunch of money and they say, yeah, sure, I think that'd be a great idea. And so I would never give store-bought milk to anyone I even remotely care about. I would never do that. We don't need dairy. And then doctors will tell you, and pregnant girls are like, oh my God, nursing women, oh yeah, well, what about your calcium, your dairy or whatever? Oh my God, okay, it's just so stupid. So what African woman who's damn near starving to death has osteoporosis? None, zero. They're carrying giant things on their head. They're carrying water 5 hours. And they're hardly eating anything. They have no osteoporosis. They have no problems. They have no problems with calcium. They have no. It goes on and on and on about dairy. Trust me, I don't want to take a bunch of your time. But dairy is a little on the foolish side, like a lot. It's unnecessary. If you're going to eat dairy, then I would absolutely get the absolute best quality you could. And it needs to be at the very least organic. It should be very, very limited. When the cows consume all kinds of junk and all the chemicals they're given, and hormones and all kinds of stuff, that stuff tends to get transported in the fat cell. Milk is a very high percent fat. It's transported through the system and you get it. And then plus it's homogenized and pasteurized, so it's all like shooken up so the fat doesn't rise to the top, and it's heated to kill off any of the things that escape the facility, and so they're not killing off, you know, lots of Americans. And so they've killed all the enzymes in it. It's virtually useless. I wouldn't have one. Anything else? The Whole30, you're going to read that this weekend, and it's going to tell you what you can have and what you can't have, and you're going to go to a store, and it's going to be an expedition. And if you need glasses to read tiny fine print, bring those with you, because you're going to start looking at labels. And you're going to see, and in here there's a label rule. You're going to see that, and it's specific to your burner type. It's very, very simple. If you buy a product, it must meet that label rule, but I'm pretty sure it won't even adhere to the Whole30 food group. So then, on the Whole30 website, and it is very big and very widely accepted, you can Google Whole30 approved recipes, and there will be lots and lots and lots of them. So this weekend, here is the thing. You will not succeed in this program and for the rest of your life. You will not succeed unless you food prep. Or you're independently wealthy and someone cooks for you every day. Unfortunately, that is the truth. It is absolutely the truth. Most of us who care about what we eat, and the athletes who are working really hard, they all food prep. So you get together, you get help, you do whatever on the weekend, and you bought all that food, and you determine some recipes that you like, and you cook large recipes. And then, while you're out shopping, before you left the house, all plastic containers in your house, you threw them in the garbage where they belong. Okay, so men, any men want to stay men? Get rid of the plastic. Anyone not want to have a whole bunch of belly fat? Okay, BPA causes a lot of disruption and actually causes weight gain. BPA from plastic. And then some things are BPA free. Well, okay, your plastic bottle didn't suddenly like collapse, right? It's still hard in different levels of hardness. Oh, do you think there might be more than one chemical? And do you think that chemical is better for you than the last one? We should limit all plastic. You should never cook in plastic. All people that I care about don't cook in plastic. They don't store in plastic. I try not to ever eat or drink anything from plastic. I want to stay a man. I really badly want to stay a man. And so it's important. And so it's pretty cheap, you know, Walmart, Costco, whatever. You get Pyrex containers and you cook all of this food on the weekend. We have a recipe dinner 1 week into this thing because we want to help you try out recipes. We want to force you a little bit to find recipes, try them, bring a recipe. You get to try all the recipes that are brought, and you're going to go, I promise you, you're going to go, oh my God, this food is good for me. It tastes like I'm in a very expensive restaurant. There are wonderful, wonderful recipes. It's called cooking, and you learn to do that, and everyone gets their favorite recipes, and you cook a bunch of that on the weekend. You put it in the fridge or freezer or whatever, you put it in containers, and then you bring it to work with you. If you're flying and traveling for a number of days, you can't bring your cooler. I bring my cooler everywhere, because I've got stuff in it that I want. If I ride, I train, I go overnight or whatever, the cooler goes with me because I try to bring stuff. If you're traveling and can't do that, then you're at the mercy of the situation and you're just trying to make the best choices you can. And then you come home and you get right back on the wagon as soon as possible.
So do we need to log our meals into WOD together?
No. That was brought up today, and I have to admit to you, because I'll just tell the truth, that it didn't cross my mind. I have been swamped, and we've done that in the past, and I was not prepared for that. So in the past, we've logged all our meals to make you accountable, and we've checked that, and there's prizes for it, and it didn't come up. It didn't right over my head. So you don't have to log this time.
What about pumpkin?
Pumpkin is a food.
Is that a starch or, because I have read.
It's a carbohydrate, and it's a starchy carbohydrate. So it's on a scale. So
is it high fiber?
Yes.
But it's also starchy.
Yes.
It is called 30
Yeah, like all kinds of. I just lost the word. But all kinds of like butternut squash, all those different kinds of squash, all those kind of things. They're all real food. Butternut squash tastes really good, right? It is starchier than that spaghetti squash, which is kind of watery, right? So when people say starch, it's the same as carbohydrates, it's the same as sugar. So watermelon tastes sweet, right? Watermelon has a high sugar content, high glycemic index content, and it's higher on that scale. So if you were to have all vegetables, broccoli and spinach and whatever, and you had your meat, and you're going to have starchy carbs, then watermelon could be that starchy carb, and then depending on your burner type, you get 3 to 5, 5 to 7, 7 to 10 bites of that. It's very, very simple, because everyone knows what a bite is. And I know everyone's going to try to take big bites once in a while, but whatever. So it's easy to measure, and it works. So yes, you can have some starchy carbs, but it's limited to your burner type per meal. So you can absolutely, if you love, I personally love sweet potatoes cooked in a massive amount of organic virgin coconut oil and cinnamon. It is incredibly good. Love it. Very high sugar content, so that would for sure fall into your burner category, whatever you are. So if I was a sugar burner, if I got it right, I would only get 3 to 5 bites. That's it. And my body would be happy, because then my blood sugar is not going to spike and then screw me up for the rest of the day and all that kind of stuff. Any other questions? Well, it's about the normal time, I think. If there are no other questions, we can wrap this up. I do hope to answer your questions at the rescue dinner. I hope that you've gone through the material. It is a learning process, and it doesn't exactly happen overnight. Yes.
Sorry.
No, fine.
What are we gonna do to measurements and stuff? I do.
Yeah.
What should I do? I'm traveling this
As soon as possible. I had no idea you were going to do this.
I didn't either today. I was like, I think everybody can come.
Sorry.
That's better late than never. And so we all of you, any of you who have not done the email yet, we really just need to get it done by Monday morning or something like that. So I'm here tomorrow morning. Those are best done in the morning wherever possible, being really well hydrated and not having eaten a meal in 2 hours. Some of you are always going to do it in the Friday evening, and it will be consistent in that time. So your readings will be consistent.